Welcome to episode 4 of Growing Mushrooms at Home. We're growing golden oyster mushrooms for the first time, as well as blue oyster mushrooms. Now we grew lion's mane before, but this time their beards get so much longer. So cute!
Ooh!
They're all edible, so we cook them and eat them. We also dry some and store them to enjoy in later months. Let's get this party started! Hello darlings! Welcome to another episode of Growing Mushrooms at Home. Thanks to North Spore for sponsoring this video. We got 6 of these spray and grow kits. This one's blue oyster mushroom, this one's golden oyster mushroom, and we also have lion's mane. I have to mention that I got these grow kits a couple weeks ago, and maybe it was a month or 2 ago. And 2 weeks ago, one of the grow kits just could not wait anymore, and out popped the golden oyster mushrooms. So it does say on the website to activate the kit as soon as possible, since they can start growing on their own. And since it's been 2 weeks, these guys have dried and shriveled up. We might be able to rehydrate them and cook them. But for now, let's prep the kits. First, we open the box along the perforated line on the front of the kit. Now we're gonna make an X on these. Place your kit in the most humid part of your home and outside of direct sunlight. I'm gonna put the grow kits on these trays. Alright, blue oyster mushrooms and lion's mane. I just noticed the second golden oyster mushroom kit. I looked at the back, and when I push against it gently, there is something there. So some mushroom might have already started growing on this one as well. It seems to me the golden oyster mushrooms, they are very rigorous. Because I mean, look at this one. It just popped out even before I prepped the kit. And I think this one got stuck. So let's look inside before we make an X on the front. When you open the kit, they give you a spray bottle. And then in here are more detailed instructions. Let's see what it looks like inside. The mycelium has bursted out the bag. I think I see some tiny mushrooms in there. It's like really stuck on there. Oy. Ooh, it's real tight. Okay, first off, it smells very mushroomy, and look at how it grew out of the bag. I'm not sure if this will keep growing or not. So this bag is closed? Oh, there's like this breathing hole on the bag and it grew out of that. These pieces grew out of this. Like, this is not an actual hole. These pieces will go in the backyard. I'm gonna fold this back up, put it back in. Let's cut the hole. Let's set the golden oyster mushroom kit next to everybody else. Spritz your kit at least twice daily. More if you're in a dry climate. I'm just gonna give it 1, 2, oops, gotta aim correctly. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Today is Friday and I'm gonna be away for a couple days and be back on Monday. These guys need to be watered twice a day. So who's going to take care of them? Mommy! As for this kit, it's dried, right? So let's take it off. It's not snapping off very easily. I might need my vlogging hand. Hold on. Let me put this camera down. Maybe I need to open this box up. Whoa! Look at this! Alright, let's try to take the substrate block out of the box. The top part feels very dry. This bottom part feels moist. There's more on the flap of this box. It melded into the paper. So here's a cluster and a smaller cluster. And okay, I was thinking these mushrooms are growing out of this thing, but it actually grew out of a corner. I guess there was a small hole. All this came out of this smallish hole. This hole is just a little bit bigger than my thumbnail. I'm gonna cut an X on the top of this one as well. I'm putting it in a shaded area outside. We'll check it after it rains. For more ideas on prepping for additional flushes, I put the link to North Spore's video. Here are days 8 through 10 for the 2 lion's mane mushroom kits and a blue oyster mushroom kit. Side view! Ooh, I see some action brewing on the corner of the golden oyster kit. When golden oyster mushrooms first start growing, they can often look like lion's mane. Day 13. I'm so excited to show you the updates. Look at these guys! One of the 2 blue oyster mushrooms have grown so much, and the second blue oyster mushroom kit, not much going on yet. Something to watch out for. Oyster mushrooms that need more oxygen are usually long and skinny. And when they're too dry, they shrivel and turn brown. When we go over to the lion's mane, both kits growing about a similar pace. Depending on the environment and other factors, lion's mane mushrooms can grow long strands. That's why it's called lion's mane. As for the golden oyster mushrooms, the little bump has become a cluster. Looks kind of like fireworks frozen in time. These golden oyster mushrooms, let's put them in the time-lapse closet. I'm predicting that these golden oyster mushrooms might not grow so big just because, remember like it was growing on the opposite side inside before we prepped the kit, and that ate some nutrients. In you go. I gotta do the setup. I guess we'll let that go for like 2-3 days, see what happens. Maybe even 5 days. It looks super wet right after you spray it, but within a couple minutes, all that glossy part, it will go away. Here's what it looks like just 5 minutes later. Not so shiny anymore, eh? Today is the day. For the past 24 hours, I have been spraying this generously. In the first 12 days, we sprayed them twice daily, but in the last 24 hours, I think I sprayed them at least 100 times. Maybe I overdid it, but look how plump they got. Bring my hand in for comparison. This is what it looks like from the bottom. Some of the caps, the edges are starting to brown, so these are definitely ready to harvest. This cap has the most blue. As for the other kit of blue oyster mushrooms, they began to pin. Once they start pinning, they double in size every day. For all the grow kits, the mushrooms are usually ready to harvest within 3 to 5 days after they started pinning. But each situation may differ depending on multiple factors, like how much water they get, oxygen, and light. If you're wondering when to harvest your mushrooms, you can refer to North Spore's photos. If yours are looking similar to theirs, it's a good sign to harvest. Let us harvest. Peel it off. That was easy. It smells like when rain hits cement and it makes the ground all wet. It's got that smell. And of course it smells mushroomy. We want to cut off the pieces from the substrate block. Sounds rubbery. If we throw this whole cluster into the pan like this, it's not gonna cook evenly. So let's peel off the mushrooms. How many mushrooms are on here? Okay, I already put like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and there's a lot of small mushrooms. So I'm just counting the big ones right now. 12, 13, 14, 15. Now the way bigger caps, I'm going to divide them in half. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Ooh, this cap is a little sticky. 33, 34, 35, lots of little small ones. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Oh, there's this. What are we on? 42 or something? 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, over 50 mushrooms on this. Wow, that was a very abundant first harvest. Now we're gonna cook. I'm gonna keep it real simple. Gonna stick with butter and salt. Maybe some pepper. So so much mushroom. Cook until the mushrooms begin to brown. Now I did not add more water to this. These mushrooms are just cooking in the moisture that was inside them. Alright, so we have a lot of lovely brown pieces. If you love mushrooms, this smell will make you drool. Blue oyster mushroom.
Looks so fresh.
I mean, it is very fresh. You could use these mushrooms in a variety of dishes, or you could put it in soup.
I think stir fry is the best. Chewy, a little.
Some parts is chewy, some parts is very easy to bite and break apart, like a chicken joint. Happy Friday, weekending. Look at how much they've grown in the past 24 hours. When I look at them, because there's so many circles and they're tiny, it just kind of gives me the creeps. It gives me goosebumps. No matter how many times I see mushrooms and when they're growing, I'm always admiring them. Let's put these guys in the time-lapse closet. As for the golden oyster mushrooms, they are very ready to harvest. The best time to harvest golden oyster mushrooms is before their caps flatten out and become concave. The top mushrooms have become concave, the lower ones no. Here's how the time lapse turned out. Goes from white to yellow, and as the caps grow bigger, they start to resemble umbrellas. Let's do a switcheroo. Out goes the golden oyster mushrooms, in comes the blue oyster mushrooms. I'm gonna cook these guys just like how I did with the blue oyster mushrooms. And just before I peel these guys off the substrate block, let's admire how it looks one last time. It kind of looks like petals, flower petals. And the bottoms, the gills, ooh, so gorgeous. Mother Nature is quite the artist. Ba-boom! Let's cut off bits and pieces of the substrate block. We don't want to eat that stuff. The smell, how can I describe it? It's like the cross between a seafood market and new sneakers. It might smell a little weird to some people, but I bet it's gonna be yummy. I'm just gonna peel them off. How many is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there's over 60. There's a lot of small ones I didn't count. Melted some butter, in goes the mushrooms. I put some black pepper on there. Let's mix it all up. A little bit of salt. Mix it all up. Alright, got some nice browning on a bunch of mushrooms. It's my first time trying golden oyster mushrooms. Nutty. Because it tastes nutty, I wonder if squirrels eat this. In fact, squirrels do eat mushrooms. If it's your first time eating a certain species of mushrooms, just eat a little bit and see how your body reacts. Most of the time, you're probably gonna be okay, but you just never know. I'm just gonna have one more, see how I feel, and tomorrow I'll eat some more. That is so tasty. I love the blue oyster mushrooms, but I think this one is even more delicious. As for the lion's mane, I'm noticing they're getting longer. They're so cute. You have to be gentle if you pet them. And make sure you don't poke them with your fingernail because it will dent the mushroom. And if they had feelings, it might hurt them a bit. I'm feeling ambitious. I believe these guys can grow bigger if I make a humidity tent. So we could take a trash bag or any other plastic bag. We're gonna make 1/2-inch holes. I'm gonna be really efficient. I'm going to fold this bag a couple times and then cut some holes. Let's open it up and see how it looks. Yeah, it seems like a good amount of holes. I mean, there must be at least 20 holes here. If there are not enough holes, then the lion's mane can suffocate themselves. We don't want that. Let's make some more holes. It looks like there are enough holes, but I certainly do not want my lion's mane to suffocate. This bag is only big enough for one. Okay, hold on. I ripped a bigger hole on the top so that instead of lifting this up all the time, we could just go in here and spray. I decided just to do a humidity tent for one of them and see what a difference it makes. This area actually gets quite a bit of sunlight. Let's move this down here. I think it'll be shaded for more of the day. Let's see how the lion's mane are doing. Now some of these clumps, they're turning brown. When lion's mane mushrooms turn brown and hard, it's a sign it needs more humidity or oxygen. If you look at the bottom, it's getting hairy. Oh, it's furry in a moist way. They kind of look like toothbrush bristles. After petting them with my fingers and sniffing it, my finger smells like mushroom. Let's take a look at the one in the humidity tent. Trying to take it off as delicately as possible. This one's browning a little bit on the top. This clump down here also got pretty hairy looking. When you put these two grow kits side by side, you can see the one that had a humidity tent did not brown as nearly as much as the one without the humidity tent. This one kind of looks like it got cooked already. Seeing the difference side by side, in the future if I were to grow lion's mane again, I would definitely use a humidity tent, because this species does need more water. We will harvest this lion's mane today, and this guy, let's put it back in the humidity tent and let it go for another day or two and see how much longer the little hairs grow. You know the drill. Let's peel these guys off the substrate block. There are little substrate bits on there, so let's cut it off. Can't stand it. So cute and furry feeling. I feel so calm touching this. I'm gonna peel it. Ooh, looks kind of like a tree with a lot of branches. It also kind of looks like a hedgehog. These guys look like so many things. They also kind of look like cauliflower, but like stringy. If cauliflower and string cheese had a baby, this is what it looked like. I was advised to squeeze the lion's mane before cooking. Let's see how much moisture I could squeeze out of this. Okay, I see some drops. If I had more strength, I might be able to squeeze more out. All right, here's the situation. Butter. In goes the lion's mane. I put some pepper in there. The lion's mane has been cooked to a lovely brown. We've tried lion's mane before, but that was over a year ago. It was a bit chewy. I don't think I cooked it enough because some of the bigger ones tasted a little bit raw. So what I did was I took those pieces, I shredded it up, and I'm gonna cook it some more. Let's see how it tastes this time. It feels like the flavor evolved. Some of these pieces really look like meat. Some people like to make lion's mane crab cakes because they can have the consistency of crab meat and also can taste seafoody. Lion's mane mushroom is being studied for its medicinal properties. Some say it boosts cognitive function along with other health benefits. You can dry lion's mane mushrooms and enjoy them as a tea. I consume it daily as an extract. Now this one's not by Northspore, but Northspore does have tinctures. As for the grow kits, let's put all the substrate blocks outside. All right, have a nice party. Today we shall harvest some more lion's mane mushrooms from the second grow kit. Let's get into our Asian squat and get down to business. For this batch, we shall dry them, store them, and later enjoy them. I'm peeling them into thin enough strips and placing them close together so I don't run out of space. But be careful not to peel them too thin nor too small, because when these dry up, they get smaller and may start slipping through the gridded holes. I'm using Mommy-O's typical setup for when she dries sweet potatoes and such. Basically, it's a cooling rack placed over a large basket with smaller holes. This way, if any pieces fall down, they can continue to dry without falling on the floor. Our floor is super clean though. After all, we're an Asian household, and it's common for Asian households to leave shoes at the front door. So inside the house, we wear socks and house slippers. On top of that, Mommy-O is a thorough sweeper. Even if I think I cleaned out any crumbs I leave behind, she spots every single one. Let's also harvest the second kit of the blue oyster mushrooms. Since we already cooked the first kit, let's dry these ones to enjoy later. The pieces of the blue oyster mushrooms are a bit bigger, so I place them around the lion's mane bits, since the edges don't have a basket right below. Eventually, I run out of room, so I set up a rack on a baking tray. The openings are much bigger than my gridded cooling rack, so I'm peeling the remaining mushrooms into bigger pieces. However, I do have some small mushrooms left, and will place those towards the center. When they shrink and if they happen to fall, at least the tray will catch them. Alright, I am excited to see how they dry and shrivel up. I'm gonna leave a mushroom out for the squirrel. I see it passing by almost every day. Oh look, Mommy O has elevated the trays and the basket. As you could see, they have shrunk a lot. When I was placing them next to each other, they were pretty close, but now there's a lot of space in between them. Before and after. Got a glass jar. Let's put the lion's mane in this one. It's okay if we mix it up, but if we want to be really organized, we will put one type of mushroom per jar. Ooh, all those tiny ones are falling right through. Here's the dried lion's mane situation right now. Here's another glass jar. This one used to have sun-dried tomatoes in it, but now it shall have blue oyster mushrooms. The smaller your mushroom pieces, the more compact you could fill up your jar. I'm trying to fit these pieces in there like a snug jigsaw puzzle. Nearly completely filled up this jar. Alright, let's finish the lion's mane jar up. Once again, perfect size jar for the amount of mushrooms we've had. I don't know about you guys, but it is so satisfying when you find the perfect size jar for the amount of food or whatever you have. We're not done just yet. I'm gonna put a silica gel in each jar to ensure they stay nice and dry and fresh. Ta-da! To grow mushrooms with North Spore, be sure to click the link in the description box. Use my code MISSMINA to get 10% off. They have spray and grow kits like the ones in this video. They also have fruiting blocks, outdoor log kits, automated grow tents, and more. They also have a YouTube channel with educational videos. All the links are in the description box. Remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell. For food and travel in Korea, check out my other channel, Sweet and Tasty TV. Toodles, my noodles. Just got back home from the weekend. Oh, what's this? It looks like Mommy O set something up. Mushrooms! Whoa! Second flush! Let's see what's in here. Ah, lion's mane. Babies! Typically with second flushes, they are not as abundant as the first flush, but it's still very nice to meet you all. These mushrooms inspire me. Sometimes in life, you might feel stuck and confined. People, the world, even your limiting beliefs might box you in. But with effort, perseverance, and patience, you can pop out and be free. To become who you want to be, to make your dreams come true. Mommy O is holding a bunch of dried mushrooms. Which species are they?
Brown mushroom.
Mommy O also frequently dries ginger. Here's a batch of ginger drying next to our mushrooms. She steeps the dried ginger to make drinks, usually with cinnamon sticks. Here are some fungi I came across during my nature walks in Washington State. These fallen trees are covered in mushrooms. Remember, I'm no expert, but I do believe these are turkey tail mushrooms. Feels velvety and has defined concentric circles with varying colors. Sometimes turkey tail mushrooms can be blue. This one's intense. The white edges make turkey tails easier to identify, but it depends on their maturity. Weeks later, I went back to the same spot to confirm identification. They're past their prime now. The underside is white and porous. Here we have witch's butter. edible but doesn't have much flavor. Now this looks really weird but fascinating. I'm pretty sure this is slime mold. Slime molds used to be classified as fungi, but are now part of the Protista kingdom. Thanks again to North Spore for sponsoring this video.